You guys know we've had other Magic sets this year, right? There's been more than one. Because in today's video, we're not talking about Final Fantasy, we're not jumping over to Bloomborough, we're not talking about Fallout, not even Lord of the Rings. Today, we're dropping in and checking in to see how well the Outlaws of Thunder Junction is doing. For today's video, I probably should have put on a cowboy hat. I should have made the part more realistic for the conversation to talk about Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Maybe I could make some references to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Remember that Clint Eastwood film way back in the day? You can look it up. Maybe Tombstone from what was the 80s with Kurt Russell and stuff like that, right? Val Kilmer was in that one. Pretty good film, right? Wizards of the Coast was trying to touch on that nostalgia when they branched out into this Western-themed world of Outlaws of Thunder Junction, this kind of semi-plane of existence, a crossroads type area, especially, with the new on-paths being recognized and stuff as a way for people who weren't planeswalkers to travel between planes, to make characters show up easier for Wizards of the Coast. They created this place. Now, how did that go over? How well is it selling? Are people still buying the cards? These are questions we need to ask ourselves, and the reason I would bring that up as a topic to you today is because we have rotation coming sooner rather than later. And a lot of powerful cards being utilized in Standard, well, those cards are going to disappear from Standard and other combinations are going to have to be found. Hence why we see new synergies appearing with a whole bunch of the new upcoming sets. We see colorless cards coming in. We see all kinds of big new beasties being represented. New planeswalkers. We've got so many cards from Final Fantasy taking the limelight that maybe we're missing out on something further down the road. And maybe speculators are already looking in this market. So are products selling right now? Is this something players are looking back on? That's what we're going to talk about. So let's take a look here at the first image that I want to share with you. Now, locally here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, the cheapest box for Outlaws of Thunder Junction Collector is $384.95. Now here in Canada, you would add 13% on top of that, bringing this box to over $445. Pretty expensive, right? That's still cheaper than what we're seeing for the newest collector boxes coming out, like Edge of Eternities. So this still costs less than that, but at the same time, a lot of people seem pretty hyped for Edge of Eternities, for other sets like Lord of the Rings. So where does this fare? How often are people buying it? And what's a US pricing look like? Well, if you're in the US and you're looking on TCG Player, you can see here the boxes, and on the 23rd, 8-9 boxes sold. The 22nd had 2 boxes. The 21st had 2 boxes. The 20th had 3 or 4. This is not selling like hotcakes because it's all fitting on a single page. It's not going multiple pages of sales. And the price tag being $229.99 US, well, that's still only less than $300 Canadian. That's pretty actually respectable. I would love if we could get pricing like that here in Canada. Wizards, are you listening? Anybody listening? Even the $218, there have been all kinds of prices that are acceptable to people. People are buying them and moving in the market, but we're not seeing a lot of overall sales. This is not something that's devastating the market with attention that makes people say, I need to have this right now. I need to buy it. I need to own it. I got to get this into my collection. These are going to go through the roof. This is going to be another Fallout situation. I can't miss out. Now, that being said, we know, of course, it's not that situation at all. There's lots of these available at local LGSs, 10, 20, 40, 60, 80 boxes. So the boxes are available. They're out there. And if something strikes the market, yeah, you'll sell some boxes. But the money has moved on a long time since then, hence the slower sales. Now, when we look at the overall market of singles inside this product and where things are going, well, there were some spicy cards that caught people's attention, and the value of these cards should be recognized. If I showed you guys the Slick Shot Show-Off, Outlaws of Thunder Junction, you remember this rare? This one jumped up above the $20 when you see it there around April, May of 2024. But even through 2025, going into March, where things were diving down, the card was like a $5, $6 card, it has spiked back up, dropped again, and now we're around the $12 mark. For a rare, that's actually pretty impressive for what it can do. It has the plot mechanic, it's got flying haste, you can go ahead and just jack this guy up by putting all kinds of non-creature spells in the environment, causing him to get +2/+0. Now, most people are aware of this. Tifa's a nice combo that goes along with it, so chances are this one's going to continue to grab a little bit of game time. Now, as we continue here, I want to take a note here for Commander players. You've already discovered all the great cards that are going to be inside this set because you're at a much longer lifespan than these cards have in standard. You're looking 10 years down the road on where these cards could be, and a lot of players recognize many of these great cards that will be utilized don't have to be expensive, they just have to be playable and desirable. Slick Shot may not be in everyone's aggro deck in red, it's not showing up in a Goblin deck, but it is showing up in standard, and that's why that value continues to be there. Now, the next card I want to talk about that also holds a pretty good price tag is going to be Bristly Bill, the Spine Sower. Outlaws of Thunder Junction, this card's averaging $39.14, but if you look back in May of 2024, it's a $15 card. So this thing's almost double X plus then some. It's continued to climb, has great action, and that's because of that landfall mechanic also being utilized right now. Standard has this thing going off. This is one of the cards I'm using with the Tifa deck to make it even that much more deadly. And of course, it's a card that if you don't deal with it, it gets really big. So you can double the counters over. And there's lots of mana ramp that can be that can be utilized inside that construction. The monthly change this month alone is $6 and change, almost $7, and it's still ripping up the charts. So Outlaws of Thunder Junction singles, there are a couple that are commanding a higher price point. But a lot of these cards are nowhere near where you would expect them to be. They are not high-ticket items. They are readily available on any TCG player, eBay, whatever, Card Kingdom, Card Market, whatever format you're using to buy your cards, they're available, okay? They're around, and they're not crazy. And, of course, we have to take this last minute to stop in and take a look at where the Play Booster boxes are at. This is still, 36 packs at this point? It's kind of hard to tell behind notes. I'm just kidding. Aether Drift was the first one with 30 packs. So there's 36 inside these boxes. They're going for around $128 to $130. They are selling, but again, they're selling slow. Now, if you're looking at this from a local level, and I showed you, hey, are you going to be ordering more Outlaws of Thunder Junction? No one's going to tell me yes. Not a single store owner. If they have some, sure, they'll sell it by the pack. It's there. You can buy it. But do we need more? Not likely. So is this going to go into a short print run where it doesn't get a demand and have, new distribution orders coming out to say, hey, print more of that bad boy. We need more of that over here? No, it's not. It's going to slowly fade out. That is, again, unless something disturbs the market and causes that kind of secondary market spike that could happen if a hot card comes along in one of the new upcoming sets. It doesn't have to be this immediate set this year. It could happen in 2026. Because it's going to be around for a while, they have a longer lifespan in which to make some of these cards really cool. And I wouldn't be surprised if they plan those kind of spikes in cards later on. Some cool card to come along that works with it right near the end of its lifespan. So yes, it's a problem in standard temporarily right before it rotates out. It makes sense, right? You can jack up the sales, but still move the card along in a 1 year cycle, so it's not going to be too much of a problem in any of the major tournaments. It just seems like a logical play that you could make as a major company looking at how your card and deck designs are being utilized in the open format system. Crazy, right? So let's recap this. The sales are nowhere. They are slow. The singles are selling okay. Individual singles with value are still being sought out, but they're not being highly sought after to the point where boxes would have to be opened. And if boxes are not getting opened, there is no demand for the sealed. If there's no demand for the sealed, there's no demand for a reprint. And of course, if there's no demand for a reprint, Wizards will skip it, pass it by, move on to the next thing. Same as Karlov Manor, which means those collector boxes are likely going to sit on a store shelf for those stores that have them. I don't know of any store that's carrying 100 boxes or anything. Nothing like that. 10, 20 boxes at most, and that's for the big stores. Small stores have nothing left when it comes to the collector boxes because it's still an expensive product to keep around to have it sit on a shelf and do nothing. So if nothing is making the market move it, there is no point to have it. And in that case, stores made the right play by buying what was required at the time of pre-order, plus 1 or 2 boxes for the store. The market has moved on. They didn't get burned. And Wizards didn't overcapitalize in the market and overprint these things to death, right? Very interesting times. So for Outlaws of Thunder Junction, I think it's probably going to pass by as an okay set. It's got a few ideas people will like myself. There's cards I like inside the set. But I don't think anyone's hot for it right now. I don't expect it to be unless something changes. And I mean change big time because it has to be a lot of money to make you want to open a box, right? When you could just buy the individual singles. So it's more likely that singles will be affected where sealed will stay sealed. Guys, thanks again for hanging out. Thanks for being here on the channel today. Let me know how you feel about Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Where do you think this is going and what would you do? if you had a chance to buy some. Would you buy this, or would you move on to another set? And if so, which set is the one for you? Thanks again for hanging out. See you all tomorrow. Hey guys, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here on the channel. Drinking my coffee here, kicking back, and I'm remembering something amazing. Oh yeah, it's the patrons! It's the patrons of this channel. They're the ones who are amazing. My YouTube membership members, the supporters of this channel, who allow for this content to be created each and every day. To all the regular viewers out there supporting and giving the videos thumbs up, thanks again for taking the time. Thanks for taking the chance on the Moxman, and I'll see you all tomorrow, of course, with another video. Hey guys, welcome back to the Ramble Jamble. You're here at the end of the video. It does seem interesting that a set like Outlaws of Thunder Junction, the whole Western theme set, the drop, the spoilers, the build up to it, had a good initial sales volume. It really died off quick on my top 10 as I recall. It only had a few cards stick around before other things totally dominated the market again, right? Bloomborough and all these things just kept coming back, taking pinches and bites. Even Modern Horizons 3, right? Just jumping in there with odd cards. Kind of crazy to think that it couldn't dominate. And it's really weird because I'm comparing it now, I can't help it, against something like Final Fantasy, which just obliterated my top 10 2 weeks in a row. There's no breathing room for anybody. It's all Final Fantasy. So you look back on that set and say, how are people going to take that set? What's time going to say 10 years from now? You know, is somebody going to build up a fondness for it and want to go back? Or is it going to be one of those sets like, I don't care if we ever go back there. It didn't strike me. They need to do something different with it. We don't need cowboy hats. They should have made generic world that's like a desert kind of thing, and they could have worked it out with like wooden homes and stuff like that. They could have made it look a little bit like a Western, but they could have left. There's better plot lines, is what I'm saying, that they could have utilized to make this work a lot better for people. So either way, it is what it is. Singles, sealed. I don't think it's moving anywhere. Guys, thanks a lot. Ramble Jamble!